Section 8.1, Solving Quadratic Equations. We're going to start with the square root property of equality. The square root property says that if x squared equals 36, then x equals the plus minus square root of 36. Because if we take the square root of 36, we get 6. And if we square 6, that gives us 36, our radicand. Also, if we square negative 6, we still get 36, which is our radicand. So therefore you have two answers, a positive 6 and a negative 6. Make sure you plug them both back into the original equation to make sure they both work. Another example, using the square root property of equality to solve an equation. First, we want to get our variable completely by itself, so we're going to subtract 40 from both sides of the equal sign. That gives us 5x squared equals negative 40. Now we need to divide by 5, so x squared is completely by itself, and that gives us x squared equals negative 8. Using the property of square roots, we take the square root of both sides of the equal sign. Don't forget your plus minus. Remember, taking the square root of a square cancels out, leaving just the radicand x. And on the other side, we have plus minus negative 8. And the negative 1 in there is really I. So let's pull that I out, leaving the 8 underneath the radical sign. Now we need to factor that 8 so that one of those factors is a perfect square. That gives us x equals plus minus I square root 4 times 2. And the square root of 4 is 2, so we can pull that out, giving us x equals plus minus 2I square root 2. Which means we have a positive 2I square root 2 and a negative 2I square root 2. Another method to solving quadratic equations is called completing the square. To complete the square means we are going to take our binomial and turn it into a perfect square trinomial. To do that, we take our middle term's coefficient, negative 12, and we divide that by 2, which gives us negative 6. Then we take that negative 6 and we square it, giving us positive 36. And that is the number that we add to our binomial to make it a perfect square trinomial.